Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about generation of context-free grammar from a simple English text. Now we will be considering this entire topic with the help of questions. The first question is, give the context-free grammar for a and bn such that n is greater than or equal to 0. So what is the pattern which is desired in this case? It should be AB, AA, BB, triple A, triple B, 4A, 4B. That means number of A is equal to number of B. So the grammar corresponding to this will be S tends to A, S, B or epsilon. Now if we try to derive A1, B1, the simple derivation will be S tends to A capital S, B, S tends to AB, and this has been generated through the production rule S tends to epsilon, which has been put up in the parenthesis on the right side. If we try to derive A2, B2, S tends to ASB. Now we have replaced the middle S with ASB again, and then we have replaced this S with epsilon, so we could get A2, B2. Likewise, if we try to get A3, B3, we will replace this middle S twice and then with epsilon, and we will get triple A, triple B. Now we will check for the same question and same grammar, is it feasible to get A2, B3? We have S tends to ASB. Now the middle S has been again iterated with ASB. Now we have 2A and 2B on both sides, but we want 3B and 2A. We are stuck, we cannot get it. Likewise, if we try to derive A4, B3, that means number of A is greater than number of B, we will keep on deriving the middle S tends to ASB, but ultimately we will be stuck. That means we have proved that this grammar is factually right for A and Bn, that is number of A is equal to number of B only. Now we move to second question. Give the context-free grammar for A and B2, and that means it starts with A and number of B should be twice of number of A. Now the pattern which is desired is single A, double B, 2A, 4B, 3A, 6B and so on. So what will be the grammar? S tends to A, S, double B or epsilon. That means corresponding to single A, we will get 2B iteratively. So if we try to derive this for A2, B4, initially we have S tends to A, S, double B. Next we will take this middle S and we will derive A, S, double B, and then we will put this S as epsilon. The output which we generate is A2, B4. If we try the same thing for A4, B8, we will keep on iterating 3 times, and ultimately when we have S tends to epsilon replacing the middle S, we get A4, B8. Let's try the same thing. Say for example it is A3, B5. If we try to derive it, now we have A2, B4. Now we cannot derive this and we are stuck. Likewise, if we try to derive it for A4, B9, we have S tends to AS double B. Again, S tends to AS double B. Now we have 4A, but on the right side we have 8B. So we are stuck, we cannot get A4, B9. Now we move to palindrome. What is palindrome? Palindrome means that it reads the same backwards as forward. Say for example, MADAM is a palindrome. If I read it from starting, it will be MADAM. If I read it from back, it is MADM. That is, this is a palindrome. So the grammar for the palindrome will be, if it starts with A, it ends with A. If it starts with B, it ends with B. Now we have two types of palindromes. One is odd palindrome and another is even palindrome. In odd palindrome, we have the total length of the string as odd. Say for example, we are trying to have W is equal to A triple B A. That means length is 5. This is odd. Difference between the two. Here we have A or B. That means middle S will always be replaced by single A or single B, and we have 2A or 2B on both sides. So odd plus even is odd. On the other hand, here we have epsilon only. So this middle S will be replaced by epsilon, and as a result, we will get even length string only. Now, if we try to derive this for BAB, BAB, remember this is a palindrome. BAB on one side and BAB on other side, and the total length is even, that is 6. If we try to derive this, we have starting with BSB, Intermediate, we replace it with S tends to ASA and then again with BSB, and ultimately we get the output when we replace this middle S with epsilon. So this is how we get odd and even palindrome. This is a grammar which is common for both odd as well as even palindrome. Next we come to the question, W starts and ends with same symbol. So that means if it starts with A, it ends with A. If it starts with B, it ends with B. In between starting and ending symbol, it can have any number of A or B. So first is S tends to A or B, AB, but this A further can have any number of A, any number of B, or nothing at all. Just consider this case in which it is starting with A and ending with A, B, A, double B, A. Initially, we start off with S tends to A, since the starting element is A. Then this is followed by BA, second element is BA, third element is A. This is followed by small a capital A, followed by small b capital B, and ultimately we get the output after putting A tends to epsilon. If we have to derive a string which starts with B, the first option which we will take will be S tends to BAB, since it is starting and ending with B. Now we will check the second element, since second element is B, so we will take A tends to BA. We keep on deriving depending upon the character which we have at the next point, and ultimately we get S tends to triple B A triple B in the end. Now we move to next question, W, where such that length of W is odd. Total length should be odd, so it should be either single string or a combination of even string with odd string, that since odd plus even is odd. This grammar on left side has S tends to AM or BM, that means it can start with A, single A or single B, followed by four options when we consider even string of AB, AA, AB, BA, BB. So we have taken into consideration all four options and epsilon in M. Whereas on the right side, we have same grammar, that is W is odd, but it has been represented in a concise way. The derivation from both will be same, that is the string will be odd. Say for example, we have a string with length 5, 4A followed by a single B. In this case, we start off with S tends to AM by AM because it is starting with A, then followed by M, double AM because it has 2A, then followed by single A, and then M tends to epsilon. On the other hand, if we derive the length 7, we have derived this from the right side of the grammar. Again, the output will be same. Please remember, both grammars represent the same thing. A and B and CM and M greater than equal to 1. The number of A and B should be same and there is no constraint on C. But it is necessary that A should be followed by B, B should be followed by C. That is, we cannot have B before A or after C. Likewise, we cannot C before B or A, and so on. Now just see this grammar. In this grammar, we have A, M, B. That means whenever a A comes, correspondingly a B will also come, and we have no constraint on C. That is why C tends to small c, capital C. So any number of C may come, but whenever we are deriving anything for A, it is compulsory that it should be having a B on the other side. In this, we are trying to derive A2, B2, C1. We start off with S tends to A, M, B, C. We have replaced M with A, M, B. So 2A, 2B on both sides. Now we have 1C. We will just replace this capital C with small c and we will get the output. If we try the same thing for A4, B4, what we will do? We will consider 3 iterations of M on M tends to A, M, B, and 1 iteration of C, or that can be, C can be any number of times, say 4, 5, 6 and so on. We can always keep on replacing capital C with small c, capital C, and we can go on iterating over C since there is no constraint on C. Now we come to second thing in which we have AM, BN, CN. Here number of B should be same as number of C. Whenever we are deriving a B on left side, we are always deriving a C on the right side. So number of B and C will be same and there is no constraint on A. Since we have no constraint on A, we have a production A tends to small a or small a, capital A. Now if we try to derive A1, B2, C2, initially we will consider only B and C. So we will replace this middle m with b, m, c. Number of b and number of c are same. We are now replacing m with epsilon, and now we start off with a. In a we have only one small a, so we are replacing that. Capital A tends to small a. On the other hand, if we consider that we have 2a, 4b and 4c, that means number of b is equal to number of c. Here we will iterate m tends to bmc 3 times, and then we will finish it up with m tends to epsilon, and we will iterate a twice because we have a2. A should be same as number of c, and there is no constraint on b. Since there is no constraint on b, we can have b as intermediate. So there is slight change in this and previous two questions. In this case, we are considering b tends to small b or small b capital D as in the previous case, but here we are putting b aside since it is intermediate between a and c. So if we try to derive a2, b1, c2, s tends to asc, followed by bsc, followed by s tends to b, and now intermediate b will be derived. Next we move to a2, b4, c2. Again, number of a and c are same and b is coming 4 times. So we will have first 2a, 2c, and then we will keep on deriving this b, and number of times here n is 4, so we will derive it 4 times and then we will replace it with small b. Next we come to a context-free grammar ai, bj, ck such that I is equal to j plus k. That means number of a is sum of number of b and c. In this grammar, we have considered that whenever c or b comes, it is always accompanied by a. Why? Because number of a is equal to number of b plus c. For a4, b1, c3, b1 plus c3 is 4 and we have a4. So we are starting off with this s tends to asc. We keep on deriving with asc since we have 3c on right side, which will match with 3a on right side, and the fourth a will match with fourth b. Now the same thing but with a different condition. In this case what we have is that number of b is equal to number of a and c. Since the intermediate number, that is b, needs to be same, we have to consider that whenever b comes, it should come either with a or with c. So a, d, b, b, m, c. If we derive this for a3, b4, c1, we start off with a, d, b, m. Why? Because we want to generate 3a. Then we replace this capital D with ADB, and then again we replace capital D with ADB, and finally we replace D with epsilon. Now we come to the next M, and here we replace it with BMC and then with epsilon. So we get triple A, 4B, 1C. That means number of B is equal to sum of A and C. Next we come to the condition where number of C is sum of A and B. This is very simple as in the question number 9. Whenever we come across C, we will always come across either A or B. So number of A plus B will be same as number of C. If we try to derive this for A1, B2, C3, we start off with S tends to ASC and then replace this S with D, and now we have BDC. Again, second loop of BDC, and ultimately when we put D tends to epsilon, we get A, B, B, C, C, C. That means number of C is sum of number of A and number of B. Now we come to last question. Give the context-free grammar for L except strings on alphabet A, B, C, where number of C equals sum of number of A's and B's. Please remember, in the previous questions, we had a condition that A should be followed by B, B should be followed by C. In this case, we don't have any condition that A should be followed by B, B should be. We have the condition only that number of C should be equal to number of A and B combined. We are considering S tends to ASC or CSA, BSC or CSB. So whenever A or B comes, maybe before C, maybe after C, it should always be accompanied by C. So we are trying to give the derivation for CBA, CCB. Here number of C are 3, number of A is 1 and number of B are 2. So we have basically A1, B2, C3. But the sequence can be any one. S tends to CSB. Further, this S is replaced with BSC, then it is replaced with ASC, and then when we have S tends to epsilon, we derive the string CBA, CCB. So we have considered various examples of generation of context-free grammar, and in the coming slides, we will be discussing about Chomsky normal form.